I respect you for a lot of things, but that's what I care about. And he's like, man, this is... He started fucking critiquing it like a fucking scientist. And I was like, okay. I didn't smoke it. That's a lie. Okay. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com, here to plead to you to please stop fucking acting like you're fucking hot shit and you're so goddamn cool. If there's one thing, I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, but I've been putting it off for a while. It was supposed to be an article series because I had an experience that I'll tell you about that kind of popped this into my head. But I've been wanting to fucking do this video for a long time. I see guys acting way too fucking cool all the time, and it pisses me off because there's no reason why you should be acting so cool. You're gonna die just like me, and you're gonna be a rotting fucking corpse. I don't care what the fuck you accomplish, but we're both going to the same place, right? Maybe afterwards we have different lives. I don't know what goes on, and maybe you'll have a better life. Maybe I'll have a better one. I'll probably have a better one than you. Fuck you. But you shouldn't be cocky because you're a walking piece of meat that can die any second. And you're probably not as good looking as you think you are. Maybe you have a big dick, maybe you're rich, maybe you're tall, I don't know. But all of those things seem pretty banal to me because if you're boring to be around or you're so arrogant and you act so cool, being around you may give people some pleasure and you may be famous and you know, you're cool, you're technically cool, but you're not actually that cool. And the coolest people that I know have these things that they should be arrogant about, and maybe to an extent they are. Everyone should be proud of who they are, but they don't flaunt it in others' faces, and their perception of themselves doesn't lead them to treat other people badly. Now, once you become high value, I will tell you that you are gonna have this mindset that other people are below you, and in a lot of instances, maybe they are, right? Maybe they're not as good with girls as you, maybe they're not as charming, maybe they're not as rich, maybe they're not as famous, right? And to some extent, maybe they aren't as valuable as you are. So I don't want to be a fucking hippie here and say that everyone's equal and everyone's of equal value and this person's as charming as this person and you know everyone should be banging a 10. No, there is a hierarchy in this world built off of a lot of different factors. For me, the thing that makes a person the most valuable, yes, I recognize when someone's good with girls and I respect it. If you have a good business and you're making money, I respect that. It's difficult to make money and it's difficult to get girls. But the thing that I personally value the highest is how solid are you here? Can you hold this still? Can you meditate well? Can you achieve higher forms of meditation and you know go above the concerns of money and status and sex? How much control do you have over this? If you have that, that's whom I respect. That's the people who I hold to the highest regard. I respect you for a lot of things, but that's what I care about. And a lot of people are gonna have different value systems than you too. So when you think you're super cool for this particular thing, some other person might not value that. And so when you act super cool around them, they're going to think you're a piece of shit. And so what happens is your attitude of being so cool is actually gonna make you less cool, right? Because I want you to be as cool as possible. I want you to get invited to all the parties. I want all the girls to love you. And to some extent, you do need to become a little bit of a confident, cocky asshole to get there because you've earned it through your hard work. However, because of the different value systems in the world and because of your inability to properly conduct yourself and to be high value but classy at the same time is gonna hurt how many friends you can make and the types of girls you can get. And first of all, you have to get there in the first place. If you have nothing to be cocky about, you shouldn't be cocky. You shouldn't just love yourself. No, you should be hard on yourself and you say, you know what, I'm kind of a piece of shit. I don't have a job, I don't have any money, I don't have any girls, I can't even fucking dress myself in the morning, right? There's things about you that can be improved. Be honest about it and improve them. But once you start getting cool, watch your fucking self and check yourself before you start thinking you're too cool for school. Now, the story that inspired this idea that I've had for years, I was working at a nightclub and there was a guy who worked there and he is the epitome of what I'm telling you not to do. He was a decently good looking guy. He dressed pretty well. He obviously was decent with social skills and with girls sometimes from what I noticed, but he definitely thought he was here and he's here. The way he walked, the facial expression he had, just a fucking caricature of himself almost. Now, one night I was with my friend and we went over to the girl he was sleeping with, her place, and another girl happened to be there and I've met her before. And she was with this guy. I guess they must have met through mutual friends because we're all in the same social circle. And she was sitting on his lap. And so my friend was with his girl. And I was sitting there kind of alone, but whatever. I was enjoying myself and I was just observing. And this guy, I was a little bit hating on him, but I was just like, okay, maybe he's gonna fuck her. And she's on his lap and they were rolling, she rolled a blunt. And so he maybe thought of himself as a weed connoisseur or something. And when she finished the blunt, and I won't go into too many details, but she knows what she's doing for the most part. Yeah, I'm trying not to snitch on people, right? Okay, but she gave it to him and then started smoking. And he insulted her blunt rolling skills. The fuck, who rolled this? And she's like, oh, it was me. I'm just sitting right in front of you when you fucking made it. And he's like, man, this is... He started fucking critiquing it like a fucking scientist. And I was like, okay. And he didn't stop. That was the problem. I was sitting there, I was like, okay, he's being an asshole. She's gonna like it. She seems to kind of like bad boys. And well, every girl loves bad boys, but she definitely likes bad boys. And she started to get a little ticked and he just wouldn't stop. And then she got off his lap and I was like, okay, that's not good, negative compliance. And well, I wasn't looking at it like that, like, oh, negative compliance because you should have touched her at a 35-degree angle, right? But I knew what was going on and it was certain that he was starting to drive it downhill. She spent less and less attention with him. I'm, tolerating his existence, talking to him, passing the blunt around. I didn't smoke it. That's a lie. Okay. I was like, don't incriminate yourself, but at the same time, don't be a liar, because that's bad too, so fuck me. All right, so I'm enjoying the party, being 5 people there. My friend's off with his girl, and now the other girl left, and it's just me and this guy. Well, he just gets awkwarded out, I guess, and he's like, all right, I'm heading out. Peace out. He's doing the whole, like really just going at it, Normally you should just be like, hey, but he does his... When you see people who act too cool for school, they keep distance from you, and they're always looking for you to get to put in the most compliance, the most effort. Like if you've ever seen Trump when he does his handshakes, he pulls people in, right? And he's the one who's in the power, and he's make sure he's always in that power position. Now, whether you like him or not, it's a decent tactic, especially on a world political level. But when it comes to person-to-person charisma, it's a little bit too much. And so you'll see them always being distanced. They don't want to get too close to you, but if they do, they're pulling you in. And it just feels like they're not as there as they should be. Their attention is away from you, and it just feels off. So, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he's on her phone, and he ends up, we find out, ordering an Uber from her fucking phone, which is a bit rude. He's kind of a piece of shit. I guess he got mad that he's not getting pussy, but it was completely his fault. It was just kind of a stupid move. That's what happens when you're too much of an asshole, which includes being too cool for school. It's great to be an asshole. You get respect from it, but if you do too much of it, it's not so good because of attainability. And we'll get that in a second. But if you want a longer course on this, if you want a longer discourse on how this attainability thing works and how it involves your level of value with her value and the similarity between you two, and you need to understand the mechanics between it. So I'm gonna go over what you should do here, but if you wanna understand the deeper mechanics of it, what you should do is check out One Date in the description below. I think you gotta scroll like 3 seconds there. I have a bunch of great things in the description, a lot of things for you to buy, including One Date, and you should check it out, buy it, and it'll teach you all of the machinations. I think that's how you fucking say that word. It's kind of an interesting word. Machinations of the mind? Yes. All the machinations of figuring out how to fuck her in the pussy by understanding the value exchange between you two on a deeper mechanical level. But coming back to an overview of how it works. When he started to push her away, obviously she didn't want to play that game, and so they got completely separated in value and similarity and arousal, and it's done. He doubled on top of that by being an asshole with ordering an Uber on her phone, and she checked it as he left, and she's like, okay, I guess he left, and her phone was there, and she's like, what the fuck, you ordered an Uber on my phone? And we're all like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, that guy's kind of a douche. I don't really like him. So we started to build some familiarity with each other. Then my friend and his girl came back, right, because I'm trying to fuck the pussy now, bro. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking. She was cute, she's a little snow bunny, and yeah, she likes ethnic guys, so I know that for sure, so I knew I had a chance. So she was talking to me and with the other friends, but I didn't think it was gonna happen. So I'm sitting there chilling, and I had long hair at the time. And she just stops, and I'm sitting, so you're me sitting down, this is my point of view. And she's like, I love your hair, Hector, it's so luxurious. And just starts going into detail about how it's, very Fabio-like and, Latino lover, stuff like that. And I go like this, I just turn on, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to take this man's bitch, right? They weren't together or anything, but he wanted to get it, and I'm gonna get it. So I notice she's chasing me now, and what I do is total, because last time we've met a few times, and she didn't seem that interested in me at all. But I was just being nice and sweet. I was like, oh, thanks, blah, blah. Started talking to her, da-da-da. And they're off doing their lovebird thing in the corner. And I'm like, hey, do you want to give me a tour of the apartment? I've been in there before. I was like, hey, you want to give me a tour? She's like, yeah, sure. Here's the balcony, da-da-da. Takes me to her room. She's like, this is my room. And then she kind of stops and then turns around to leave. But like she gave like an extended delay. And I was like, all right, look. She's totally thinking this guy's an asshole. I'm not a nice guy, but I'm being nicer now, and that's exactly what she needed. And I was just like, boom. And 30 seconds later, I was raw dogging her on her bed. So, the guy who was acting too cool for school, it was attractive because it's not like his attitude had changed from the club, like he's always acting like that. So she was attracted to that in some way, enough that she was sitting on his lap. He got her back to her place. They're smoking. It was a pretty good recipe for sex. But he fucked it up because acting too cool for school. And I just played it cool. I was there. She showed, hey, Hector, you're in the race now. I was like, all right, I'll just be a nice guy. Get it. So, when you are good with girls, when you become an attractive guy, when you become a high value guy in any way, you're going to start to think you're awesome. However, when you are interacting with people and when you are interacting with women, there is a thing called attainability. But your attainability is other people's perception of their chances of attaining you in whatever way that means for them. If it's a guy, your attainability is how likely is this guy to open up to me and become a friend and become an ally. Because you should have some walls up and you shouldn't just be super cool with everyone right away. You have to play the game. With girls, it's how likely am I to get this guy? How much effort do I have to put in? Now, she has to be attracted to you in the first place, of course. But how likely am I to get him? How likely am I, more so, she's wondering, to get him as a longer term thing? Because getting sex is easy for girls, right? It's not like, if a girl's hot enough, no guy's unattainable. But he's unattainable with regards to what kind of emotions can I get from him? Not just sex, but love or relationships or commitment, etc. So your attainability is how likely am I to attain him? If it's too high, people can go into what I call auto-rejection, which is what happened with the girl sitting on his lap. He started to knock her value down, and especially giving a lot of other context that I can't really go into. Probably wasn't the best thing to insult her on specifically, and it caused a divide, and she got offended, and it went beyond just, I'm not afraid to insult girls and tease them. Sure, but he was just kind of really insulting her because of his tone of voice. If he was teasing her, it would have been very evident in the way he was talking to her, but he was talking to her like he thought he was too cool. So it's like, oh, come on, look how wet this is. No, this is shit. He wrote it like shit. He was just being a piece of shit as he was talking about the play. And so he insulted her rather than teased her. And so this caused a divide in attainability. She's thinking, okay, well, I was liking this guy, we danced. I don't know what happened. I just know they were back at the house, but let's just say theoretically, oh, we were dancing, he was so nice, maybe we kissed, I don't fucking know. And then we got back and, well, why is he insulting me now? He's back at my place, I'm giving him free weed. What the fuck are you complaining about? Which is kind of the obvious thing. I don't know what this guy's complaining about. He almost got pussy and weed. So she sees his behavior and is like, okay, well, I don't know what happened to this guy. He's unattainable emotionally. She just feels like, no, I can't do this. This is not good. Then she sees me and she's like, okay, well, I find him attractive, but he's also being nice. He's being polite. He's being cool. And then that was juxtaposed against his way too cool for attitude. So I overplayed the nice guy card and then I ended up getting the pussy. So I ended up being cooler than him by acting not so cool and nice and polite, and not snobby and not arrogant and not overly dominating of people. So with men and with women, how to do it with men, don't act too cool by being too distant with them emotionally. Guys should always be stoic and cool with each other, but sometimes you want to show some vulnerability and you actually care about this person, right? Hey, how are you, man? Nice to meet you. Not, hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. Fuck that, man. Show some emotion, show some empathy, show some care, show some, not vulnerability, but openness in who you are, really. There's no reason why you need to be mean to this person unless they've done something against you, and then you should barely be interacting with them at all. So don't think you're too cool and don't act too cool. The reason you shouldn't think too cool is because of the reasons I explained. You're gonna fucking die. You're not as amazing as you think you are. But don't act too cool either, because it's gonna fucking ruin your relationship with other people, men and with women. And with women, they're very sensitive to this shit. And if you are at all too arrogant or too aloof, it's gonna get them interested at first, but women are very volatile. And so what you think works at first is 10 seconds later going to destroy the seduction, because she loved you, she brought you back to her house, she's giving you fucking free shit, and then you're spitting in her face and telling her to go fuck herself. Indirectly, it's probably not what you mean to do, but because of whatever insecurities you have or fucking traumas, and now you're putting on this wall and you're acting too cool, because that's really what's going on. You're not allowing yourself to have the relationships with the men and the women that you want in your life, because they think you're unattainable, but really deep down you're just a hurt little bitch. And because you're a hurt little boy, you don't want to show your emotions to anyone, and so you lock up and you become too cool for school, and then bad things happen and then other men fuck your bitches. Cool. So don't be that. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlschase.com, here telling you not to be a snobby little bitch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on social media, Instagram specifically. I think I might get on TikTok soon. We'll see. And remember to buy One Date in the description below. It'll teach you all the little details that I went into here, but in much more, well, detail. So I'm reiterating myself too much. Now random words are coming out of my fucking mouth, and so I'm just gonna fucking end this video before I spill an entire thesaurus. All right, bye.